the lovely square watch. Love it or hate it, you can't deny that certain square watch models have achieved iconic status in the horology world, becoming timeless classics that hold significant cultural and historical value. For example, the Cartier Tank and the JLC Reverso are iconic square watches that have really stood the test of time. And it's the timeless appeal of watches such as these that really contribute to the rectangular watch enduring popularity in the world of horology today, not least in the Microbrand world. Today, we're taking the macro lens to the nostalgia by Swedish Microbrand Söner, as we take a very close look at every single aspect of this watch, as I always try to do for you, my lovely viewers, all two of you. And just a quick note, for those of you who don't already know, I appreciate my vids can be quite long, so I do leave chapters in all my reviews, so if you want to watch specific sections of my breakdown, then you can use those chapters to hop around. Oh, and don't forget to please leave a subscribe and or a comment. I would absolutely love to hear what you think about this watch, or if you want to comment, to just say hello. And stick around to the end of my in-depth analysis of the Söner Nostalgia, as I take it to Harewood House for my usual end of review walk around, as I take this classy dress watch to one of the most classiest places in the United Kingdom, and one of the official treasure houses of England. As ever, it's great to have you here. Now let's look at an overdramatic specification of this watch, all in the next 90 seconds. Söner is a Swedish microbrand that exclusively offers square analog watches and crate watches that they say are designed for men and women with a refined taste and appreciation for Art Deco design and quality craftsmanship, whilst at the same time combining centuries of Scandinavian design principles with expert watchmaking techniques, using premium materials and high quality movements for precise timekeeping. And Söner, meaning sons in Swedish, was founded by Freddie Palmgren on the Swedish west coast. They have several square watch designs in their product portfolio. You have the Legacy, Momentum, Amorous, and this, the Nostalgia. And please note that pre-order at the moment is available for the Amorous and the Nostalgia, but pre-orders will close on the 29th of February 2024 when the Kickstarter launch begins, and that's because Kickstarter restrict you to having dual campaigns. Now this, the Nostalgia, is the quartz version of the Amorous Don't Forget, and it's worth noting that within each product set there is quite the variation available to you, with each design type powered by either a quartz or an automatic movement. And the product variations aren't clear-cut, I must say. Each design type has different colorways, and some design types are available in both gold and silver, and some just in silver. And some design types have a different case finish, so it's worth looking online to see what's available. This, the Nostalgia, will be available in silver, polished and brushed, and in gold. And in terms of colorways, you have the white, the black, the green, and the red. But note that the gold case will only be available with the black and white colorway, and the red and green colorway only available in the silver case. And if you want brushed finishing on the case, that will only be available in the black colorway. Now I hope all that makes sense, but like I say, please do go on their website if you want to learn more. So just to reiterate what was said in a very classy and calm 90-second spec, the Nostalgia comes in at 7.2mm thick, a quite petite 28mm in diameter, 40mm lug to lug, 20mm width at the lug, with this leather strap tapering down to around about 18mm by the time it reaches the clasp. Okay, so starting with the dial and working our way out, I mean, what can I say? This colourway I have is obviously in white, and for me, probably my favourite colourway of all the Söner watches. I really do feel that square watches have, some might say, a very unique and distinctive aesthetic that sets them apart from the more common round watches, which makes square watches a stylish choice for those looking to make a statement with their timepiece. And to have a square watch with almost like a pearl white dial conveys a sense of, I feel, understated luxury, whilst exuding a timeless elegance that can complement both formal and casual attire. Now, many iconic and vintage rectangular timepieces, such as the Cartier Tank for example, feature white dials, and that really does contribute to the classic appeal of rectangular white dials. You have the logo on the 12 printed in black, and the product name above the 6, and note that there is no date complication, and that's something which you won't find on any of the Nostalgia range, which suits me just fine as I'm a no date kind of guy. The hour markers are these beautiful buttons applied to the dial. They are highly polished, and because of that square case, I just absolutely love the way these are applied to the dial in terms of placement, with the larger gaps between the 1 and 2, 4 and 5, and the same on the opposite side of the dial, which really complement the elongated sides of the dial. If you look closely to the indices, in particular the ones that are on the diagonal, you can see that the outside and inside edges of each of those are in line with the squareness of the case. And also note that the 12, 3, 6 and 9 are slightly thicker than the rest. Now, you actually won't find any Arabic or Roman numerals in any of Söner's designs, which is something that really reflects the minimalism of their Scandinavian design principles. The hands are Dauphine, which are very popular in dress watches, and it's a very elegant design, I must say, and if you look very closely, they are ever so slightly faceted and reflect the light absolutely beautifully. The hour hand perfectly touches the 3 and the 9 o'clock hour markers, and the minute hand overlaps them all, less the 4 in each of the corners of the dial. And also note the absence of the seconds hand. For me, and I know this is entirely a personal preference, there's no place for a seconds hand on any square minimalist dress watch, so I'm really glad not to see one here, though if you insist on an obvious movement and like this particular style of watch, then all the other watches in the Söner product range have seconds hands. And that does include the Amorous, which is powered by an automatic movement, which I'll come to in a sec. The crystal is a single dome scratch resistant sapphire crystal which boasts 5 layers of anti-reflective coating, thus minimalising glare and reflections for what Söner claim is unparalleled visibility. I mean, the clean minimalist dial, sharp and straightforward hands and indices will give you nothing short of fantastic legibility anyway, and in really strong reflections of light, the AR coating on this crystal simply won't let you down. Now for the case, which is for me the obvious star of the show, it's 316L stainless steel, and for me it's actually the best case design Söner have come up with so far. I mean, Söner actually have 4 product ranges but only 2 case designs. The Legacy and the Momentum are the same, with the latter being powered by a Miyota 9039 and the former Miyota Caliber 2035. The Nostalgia has the same case as the Amorous, but the Amorous being an auto with a date window, and this is a quartz, which I'll come to in a moment. It's 28mm in width, 40mm lug to lug, and from the side you'll see this really nice curve, and actually allows for the watch to sit very nicely on the curvature of your wrist. It's really high shine, and the case steps up to form this double frame on the face of the watch, adding a bit more complexity in comparison to its brothers, the Legacy and the Momentum. Now the case really has a slim profile too, 7.2mm, which gives this case, for me, real aesthetic appeal. I mean, it really is a very sleek and very elegant case. In fact, this entire streamlined profile reflects a very refined, sophisticated and somewhat understated presence, dare I say. There is a hint of Art Deco in this design too. Now, generally speaking, Art Deco designs in watch cases often feature geometric patterns, loads of bold lines and intricate detailing that reflect the style and elegance of the Art Deco movement, and I've seen Art Deco-esque watches that are perhaps overly Art Deco in its design. But here in the Nostalgia, and indeed in all the Söner product line, it is beautifully subtle, and that Art Deco is characterised by its geometric shape, in this case the rectangle, with a symmetrical pattern of the dial, adding to a very streamlined and modern aesthetic of the case. And also Art Deco was represented in the angular profiles with minimal ornamentation, reflecting the sleek elegance of the Art Deco era. You have a very dainty push-pull crown here at 3, very small indeed, and sports the logo engraved onto it. And also note that the Söner Nostalgia is water resistant to 5 ATM or 50 meters, so well, you really don't want to be taking it to the swimming baths, but I guess it's okay if you get caught up in a rainstorm. Now, this was sent to me on this leather strap, and I've been told that this leather strap will be available as an option as part of the launch on Kickstarter, but actually the options you get at pre-order online right now is of black alligator pattern, brown alligator pattern, light brown alligator pattern, green alligator pattern, which looks mint by the way, or a stainless steel bracelet. I mean, this strap that it's currently on is pretty cool. It has contrasting edge stitching and overall has more of a racing or rally feel to it. Also rest assured that the straps on production models will be quick release, and each strap will be available in 2 sizes, over 20 centimeters and under 20 centimeters. Now, the leather straps will have this deployment clasp too, and it's one of those that stays permanently in the adjustment hole, so it really will be a watch you can pop quite easily on and off your wrist. The movement is a Swiss-made ETA 901-001 movement. Now, it's a premium quartz movement boasting 3 jewels and quite impressive 11-year battery life. Also launched at the same time is the Amorous, which will be powered by the high-end Sellita SW100, but this in my hand is the Nostalgia and is powered by the quartz. And that movement is contained behind this Caseback, which as you can see has 4 screws on each of the 4 corners. It also obviously is shaped with the case and sports a Söner logo at the top with some spec below it. On my 7.5-inch wrist it wears, well, what can I say, it's a bit on the titchy side for my wrist size, but actually wears quite comfortably indeed. The curvature of that case certainly helps in that aspect, and though I'm not a huge wearer of dress watches in general, actually this Nostalgia takes on slightly more of a casual appearance, particularly with this strap. And I personally like the brown or tan leather straps in general to tone down an otherwise too dressy watch. Now, I wore this around Harewood House wearing black jeans, trainers, t-shirt and a casual biker's jacket, and it didn't at all feel out of place. In fact, it wore very much like a casual, elegant watch. I would absolutely love to see what it looks like on a stainless steel bracelet, as I think that would perhaps make this feel a little bit more casual, or I don't know, maybe a little bit more dressy. But anyway, overall I was quite pleased and dare I say quite surprised with how this wore with my casual attire. The dimensions of the case is perhaps a little too small for my personal preference, but I certainly wouldn't firmly say that in general these dimensions are too small for a 7.5-inch wrist. It really is a personal preference. In terms of price, the Nostalgia is currently marketed at pre-order right now on the Söner website at 213 British pounds. It's about 270 USD or 250-ish euros in today's exchange market, which I think represents fairly decent value. Now, pre-orders will close when the Kickstarter campaign begins on the 29th of February 2024 due to that Kickstarter restriction on dual campaigns. There will be a lot who may feel it's a tad on the sharp side for a quartz movement, and I kind of get that, but it being quartz is most certainly something that I can personally live with. There is no seconds hand ticking away to really cheapen that feel to this watch. Overall, well look, I'll be perfectly honest and say that petite rectangular dress watches aren't really a style that fulfills my own personal preference. When I took this watch out of its box for the first time, my first impressions reflected that. I tried to be objective and positive about it, and actually I was surprised when I put it on. It's kind of cute and definitely has some personality to it. There's a classic appeal to this watch, as obviously there are strong vibes of the Cartier tank, purely because it's rectangular, has a wide dial, but actually this Söner Nostalgia holds its own personality too. There's a bit of an understated luxurious feel to my wrist, and carries that very distinctive aesthetic of being a rectangular watch with the face of the watch framing a pretty cool look that reflects the style and elegance of Art Deco movement. It has a really amazing curved and slim profile with the design, which makes this a very comfortable wear, and I'd imagine more so for a 6 or a 6.5 inch wrist in particular. I mean, look, it's plainly obvious that the Nostalgia brand offers a blend of style, versatility and functionality, but actually for me it's the versatility that I was most surprised about. You won't be restricted, I feel, to wearing this timepiece to just formal events, and in fact you may find yourself wearing this whilst also donning a pair of jeans and a tee.
see that